everybody. I'm in the Sylvania Wilderness in the UP of Michigan up by Watersmeet, and this is just the parking lot where I'm leaving the car, and then I'm going to go on just one single overnight trip in my kayak going out to a campsite on Crooked Lake. And I'm trying to load my boat right now and it just started hailing on me, so I'm kind of gonna wait that out in the car right now. Well, it is still raining, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish loading up the boat anyway, and so I can get launched here pretty quickly. So even though it's late September, some of the loons have actually not left the area yet, and there's an adult with one of its chicks that is almost full grown but not quite yet, and they're out here feeding and just cooing to each other, and it's so awesome. This water is so clear, and you can just see so many different types of aquatic plants in there, and even little fish. So for those of you that don't know about wildernesses, they're all over the United States, and they are areas that are just set aside to be wild. That you're not allowed to build houses there or roads or anything like that. You can't drive in them. Some of them have trails and campsites and things like that. Like this one has campsites, and some of them don't. Some of them are just big tracts of land that is just set aside to be wild. So, and I'm actually kind of embarrassed that I didn't know that this wilderness, Sylvania Wilderness, was even here until very recently. I thought I would have to go to Canada or the Boundary Waters to get an experience like this, where I could kayak in to a campsite on a remote, secluded lake with no one around. And that's not true, because this one is actually about an hour and a half from where I'm currently living in Wisconsin. Just can't get over how absolutely quiet and still and beautiful it is out here. There's just no sound except for a couple of birds and the wind in the pines. I don't know if you can see that, but there are a bunch of trumpeter swans actually feeding in this area. You can just see their heads sticking out of the weeds, and I'm not going to go any closer because they really need to conserve their energy for when they're migrating, so I don't want to disturb them. Well, it wasn't supposed to rain at all until tomorrow, but I think the rain clouds are actually following me, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get rained on tonight. So I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but this is my very first kayak camping trip. And the cool thing about kayak camping or canoe or whatever boat you have is that you can get into all these really remote spots that a lot of people, other people can't get to because they are only hiking or canoe in. And I also love backpacking, but what's really cool about kayak camping is that you don't even have to carry any of your own gear. Your boat just does all that for you, and you can be lazy and just sit back and relax and enjoy all the beautiful scenery. So I'm arriving at my campsite, which is marked by this little post in front of me. And all the campsites around here in this wilderness are named after different animals, and mine is chipmunk. So that's the one I chose. It's kind of out here, not by any of the other campsites. And not that there's anybody out here, actually, but I was just making sure that I was all alone tonight. And this looks like an absolutely beautiful, deep, dark woods, and I'm excited to spend the night here. This is by far the most enormous mushroom that I have ever seen in my life. Look how huge it is. All of the campsites are actually put back in the woods, away from the water. They're at least 200 feet from the water, just to keep that wilderness feel, and so that people on the lake can't see your campsite and can't hear you quite as well either. So I'm way up here at the top of the hill, and I actually dragged my boat all the way up here. I didn't really need to do that, but I didn't feel like hauling all my individual stuff up here, so I just hauled the boat. So I have my tent all set up and ready to go. This is a little Big Agnes Copper Spur 2-person tent, and it's definitely, you better like the person that you're camping with if you're gonna do 2 people in there, because it's pretty tight, but it's an awesome little tent, super lightweight. You don't even need to stake it down. I only staked down the rain fly tonight because there's not supposed to be any wind, so there's really no reason to even stake it down. And got my sleeping bag and pad all ready inside there. Well, it definitely did rain during the night, so it was dripping like all night long, but I love that sound of dripping on a tent, so I actually slept pretty well. I turned my boat upside down last night so that it wouldn't be all full of water this morning. So hopefully, even though I'm going to get wet on the paddle back, at least it's not already all full of water. Okay, so I'm all packed up and I'm ready to launch again today, out into the rain. And last night was so awesome because the full moon came up right over there by those trees, and there was the big reflection across the water, and everything was mostly clear with a couple clouds. And I saw a beaver swim by in the dark, and then the loons were calling out there in the dark because apparently they keep really late hours, and it was just like something out of a movie. It was so quiet, and moonlight and loons. And as I was walking around the campsite with my headlamp, I actually noticed all these little green jewels everywhere, sparkling in my light. And then I remembered that spiders actually, their eyes glow green. So I followed a couple of them, and in fact here's one of them now. He is trying to hitch a ride in my boat. Apparently he doesn't want to hang out in the forest anymore, but I think I'm going to leave it behind. Well, so far I have just seen loons and eagles and beavers and some little songbirds. No bears or anything like that, but at the visitor center where I checked in, somebody had reported seeing a wolf a couple weeks ago, which would be super awesome, but I didn't get to see anything like that, at least yet. Oh, and I did see the swans, of course. Obviously it is pouring rain now, but it doesn't make it any less magical and beautiful out here. All you need is a rain jacket and some rain pants, and you'll be just fine. Well, I'm approaching the end of my first kayak camping trip that I did solo in the Sylvania Wilderness, and it was a huge success. So I'm excited to get out and do this kind of thing again. The only thing I would change, if I could do it again, would be not to forget my hot cocoa mix, because I really could use a cup of that right about now. So here's a map of Sylvania Wilderness, which is part of Ottawa National Forest. And you can see what I did. There's all these lakes in here, but I put in here on Crooked Lake, up here, actually, right there. And then I paddled all the way down to here to Chipmunk. That was my campsite. And I actually paddled around in this section as well.
last night.